Hey guys, welcome back or welcome to the channel. Today's video is going to be on the 2024 Chevy Blazer EV RS trim model. And before we get into the review, I do want to quickly thank Millennium Chevy for lending me this Blazer EV. If you are interested in this particular one, make sure to check out my links in the description below, or any other Chevys, go ahead and check the description below to go ahead and look at any other Chevy models that they may have. Now, before we get into some of the exterior features and the design elements, let's go ahead and let's jump underneath, well, the hood, I guess you could say, in this one, although you actually can't on this one. So a couple of key specs to note is that with the LT all-wheel drive and the RS all-wheel drive, you're going to have 279 miles of range, and with the RS rear-wheel drive, you're going to have 324 miles of range. This car has about 288 horsepower with 333 pound-feet of torque as well for the all-wheel drive model, and for the rear-wheel drive model, you're going to have 340 horsepower with 325 pound-feet of torque. And this car also does feature a dual motor. Now let's go ahead and jump into some of the exterior features. Alright guys, so here it is, Chevy's attempt into the EV SUV market. Here we have the new Blazer. So they actually had a stop sale on these, and now that the stop sale is over, here we are with the 2024 model. So a couple of things to also note besides the key specs on this car is actually the price, which is the very next most important thing, if not the most important thing for most people. This car right in front of you sits at $56,000 base MSRP. This one in particular with the RS trim, this has the driver convenience package in it, it's about a $2,600 option. This one sits at $60,000, and we have that red hot exterior red color on here as well. So just keep that in mind. This is a $60,000 EV SUV. Obviously, that is the controversial part of this car. I think the styling overall is very well, and I think that they did a really good job of the interior too. But comparing it to the Mach-E or the Ioniq 5 or the Tesla Model Y, I think that Chevy kind of has to work still a little bit more on that price, because I think it's just a little too high for the other competition in the market. So just keep that in mind. This is a $60,000 EV SUV. Let's go ahead though. Let's jump into some of the exterior features on here and the overall design quality. Again, I think they did an excellent job though, Chevy did, with the overall design of here. So starting off on the front and the exterior, like I said, this is the red hot paint color. Looks very good. You can see we have the very large LED front bar going into here with that black Chevy bow tie in the front, your RS badge right down here. See, we have a couple of vents right down here on both sides. They are actually functional. You can see right through there. Same thing on this side. You have this very large plastic black front grille. The car looks like an EV at the end of the day. I know I did a review on the Hummer EV recently, had a similar-ish look, but I think they did a better job on that one, making it not look like an EV, but this one obviously has that very classic EV look. Another thing to also note is that this car does not have an actual frunk area. There's nothing in there that we as the consumers actually have the ability to access. But overall though, you can't use that as extra storage space. So again, Chevy, I believe they missed the mark on that one too. Continuing on though, on the front end, I like the design of it though. Excuse it, it's just a little dirty right now, that's all. But this is again a brand new car, just came in. We have that very large gloss black front lower lip area. Moving our way to the side, you can see that we have these very nice wheels on here. I think they did a very good job overall on the wheel design and choice. I think it matches EV look on here, and I think it just matches the Blazer look in general. And these are going to be 21-inch machine-faced aluminum wheels on here too. Your tire sizes are going to be 275 by 45s, and again with these 21-inch wheels, that's going to be obviously four-wheel around. And that's really it for the wheel on here. I do like the design though. You do have the center black bow tie in there. And again, you have that machine face on here, so you actually have the gloss black front on the face of the wheel, and then you have a little bit of aluminum going around there, creating a very nice design. Coming up a little bit, you can see we have black trim following the whole line of the car. We have black wheel arches on here as well. And right in here, as you can see, is actually going to be where your little charging door is. So you give it a little press right here, and that comes out and folds right down. Go ahead and plug in your EV Blazer. You go ahead and click this little button right here, and then it goes ahead and closes up. Going ahead and continuing on back, you can see we do have a black side view mirror caps on here with the red underneath. There's obviously a camera under here because there are cameras all around the EV Blazer. And now moving on to the rear end of the Blazer EV, I think that the overall design elements on here look very similar to the Traverse, which I really like. You can see the rear taillights on here with that interesting kind of shark tooth design shape on here. You have the Blazer logo on the back finished in black, but with the blue E on here, which is similar to like the Wrangler 4xe and something like that. A lot of the EV manufacturers make the E on here blue just to signify that it is an electric vehicle. You obviously have the same black Chevy bow tie in here, one small rear end windshield wiper on there. Again, that black trim continuing across the top with your rear third brake light up top there as well. This is the all-wheel drive model and it is finished in black lettering, and again you have that RS trim right there. Moving a little lower too, you can see the very large gloss black rear bumper on here, again with more parking sensors in there too, and a couple of more lights on there, and your reverse lights on the lower end portion of here. And now opening up the trunk, you actually do have a button down here, and on the actual key fob itself, as you can see, it is a pretty standard Chevy key with a black bow tie in here. All your button controls is lock, unlock. You do have remote start in here, and then the trunk button on here. So now with the back end open up, you can actually see here's some of the new goodies that you're gonna get. These are the floor mats and the actual charger right here that you can get for the car. Overall cargo space back here is pretty good. Nothing too crazy, not crazy excellent either, but as you can see with the seats folded down, you obviously have a little bit more room, but with them folded up, honestly, there's not too much room, but there's definitely enough for you to get through it. Another thing to also keep in mind is that even though this is an SUV, it is a smaller SUV. It's honestly a little bit bigger, I would say, than the Chevy Trax. So while it is called an SUV, I wouldn't compare it to something like a Traverse or something like that. That is going to be something that you are going to want if you're looking for space, but if you don't need a ton of space, this is definitely the car for you. And it's definitely smaller in terms of some of its other competition, such as the Model Y and the Mach-E. I think it's a little bit smaller than that, but as compared to like something like the Ioniq, it's probably a similar size to that, if not actually a little bigger than that one. So overall though, rear trunk space is pretty good. You do have your little latch right in here, and underneath is another storage area right down here for you, and then right here is your tow hook and everything like that. Also on the rear end is just your tie down ports right here, and that's it. There's no other power outlets or anything like that back here. There are two lights, and that's all you're gonna get back here. So nothing too crazy for you back here. Let's go ahead, let's close this up now, and let's actually jump onto the interior where most of the new features are. Well, we are now inside of the new 2024 Blazer EV. So let's go ahead and let's get started on initial impressions. It looks fantastic, I think. I think the Chevy did an excellent job, again, on the interior design of this. And the reason being, I think, is just because it doesn't look like an EV in here, similar to like what I said about the Hummer EV. It didn't look like an EV when I was inside. There are still some manual buttons for very common things like the climate control, which I do like. So first things first, when you step inside of your Blazer EV is obviously you do have to start your Blazer EV. So how do you do that? You literally just keep the key in your pocket or wherever you want inside of the car and just hit the brake. That's it. It is now on. It is now ready to go. That is all you have to do. Just step inside and hit the brake. Your car is now ready to drive. So once you are ready to drive, you're going to have to obviously shift into gear, whether that be reverse, neutral, or drive. All you have to do is with the gear selector switch, which is up here on the right of the steering wheel, you go ahead and push it forward to you and down to put it in drive. And now we're in drive. If you want to go back into neutral, just push it forward towards you again. And reverse is going to be the same thing, except you're going to go in towards you and up for reverse. And when you want to go into park, you have a physical button on the end, similar to like Mercedes was, where you just give that a click and now you are placed into park. So overall design though, like I said, excellent choice of materials in here. Very, very nice. You have a ton of leather, you have a ton of Alcantara, and this carbon fiber type of gloss design that runs throughout here. I think it looks really, really good. Again, this is the RS trim though, so it's going to come with a little bit of extra goodies like that. So speaking of that, your door itself is going to be finished in this obviously black material, black leather with the red stitching running throughout, and then red leather on the lower portion with that gloss black kind of carbon fiber design running throughout the center of the door. Your memory seat options for the seats are going to be on this door as well, along with all your window selector switches, pretty standard stuff. Next thing to note is that all of your climate control vents, again, are very similar to the new age Chevys. They're this circular design, similar to the Traxxas, similar to Camaros, everything like that. I think it looks really good. I think it looks very good inside of here, again, with the RS trim model. And the next best thing I think inside here, besides the seats and the overall design, is the steering wheel. The steering wheel looks absolutely gorgeous. I think they did a really good job on the steering wheel. It is wrapped in black leather with red stitching running throughout. You have gloss black accents and a gloss black Chevy bow tie in the center of here with your RS badge on the bottom of the steering wheel. Of course, all of your standard controls like your steering functions, your cruise control adaptive, which this one does have. You also do have a heads-up display, which is a part of the driver convenience package that this one does come with. A couple of things to note now is when you're sitting inside, you're obviously greeted with two large screens in front of you. These two screens are going to be, the driver screen that you're actually staring at is going to be your 11-inch digital display, and to the right, this larger screen right here is going to be your 17.7-inch digital display. So when you click a certain button right here on the steering wheel on the lower right next to your heated steering wheel button, you can go ahead and actually change the driver's display screen for you, showing your miles per hour and everything like that. So there's a couple of different little display drive modes that you can go through. It makes it a little bit sportier. This way you can show a different, your speedometer and your RPMs if you wish, or in this case, it's going to be your speedometer and your kilowatts. So just a little cool different thing that they have in here, make it feel a little bit sportier. The overall screen response time in here though is excellent. Response time is absolutely fantastic. It's super responsive. You have different drive modes in here too. So this car does have 4 different drive modes. You have normal, you have your sport mode, you have snow and ice mode, and you have a fully customizable My mode. Now, one thing to note is that even though it does actually have separate buttons for the climate control, you can actually still control the climate control through the main screen if you wish. There's a fully separated button on here for that. This car also does have heated and cooled seats on the front and heated on the rear seats. Again, extra option, a part of that driver convenience package. This car also does have ambient lighting running throughout it, but unfortunately, being daytime, it is like impossible to see. However, there is a plethora of color choices for you. And now another thing that you can also see in here is actually your charge time. So it will go ahead and let you pick when you want to charge your vehicle, or it will tell you if you charge it right now when it will be ready by, or at least have an 80% charge. So just to keep in mind, it is 1:27 in the afternoon here right now. It has approximately 96 miles of range left in it right now. And if I were to charge it to 80% of battery life, it would be ready at about 8 o'clock tonight. So about 6.5 hours right now, if I charge it right now with 96 miles of range to get it to 239 miles of range, about 6.5 hours of charge. So obviously not very, very fast. And again, I know that was another issue that Chevy was presented with when making and designing this car. It just couldn't stand up or keep up with the competition in this class. And now that pretty much wraps up the actual main screen on here. There's nothing too crazy on here. Now, when you want to shut the vehicle off, all you have to do is actually just close the door, lock the door, and walk away, and it will sense your key fob is far enough and actually shut the car off itself. Or if you would like, it actually has a separate button on here just to shut the car off. So you can go ahead and click the little button. It will say vehicle off or cancel. You click vehicle off, and then it will completely turn off for you. I personally would probably do that every single time instead of walking away and hoping that it actually shuts off. I just would feel more secure if I knew that I actually turned it off. Now, coming into the actual center console area, the lower portion on here is actually a pretty big storage area. So you actually have a little storage cubby on the lower portion. Then you have this very large little pullback area. You have 2 cup holders up here finished with the gloss black surrounding it. You have 1 larger wireless phone charger now to fit modern day phones. And underneath this red wrapped leather armrest is actually your second storage area right here, which does have another charging port and a 9-volt charging port inside of here. Going on to overall seat comfortability, very nice, feels very nice. Again, it is Alcantara and red leather. They look absolutely fantastic. They are fully adjustable. They have memory seat options on here. And again, having the ventilated and heated seats is a very nice touch to have. But obviously with a car of this price tag, I would kind of hope that it did come with that. The actual display screen is angled towards the driver, so the driver really gets the full cockpit feel, whereas the passenger more or less just gets to look at pretty much nothing. That wraps up mostly everything up here. The main thing next is going to be the rear end seats, which we will just take a quick look at now, and then that's going to be it, and we're going to wrap up this video. All right, guys, now we're sitting inside of the rear end. I have to say there's plenty of room here, plenty of headroom, plenty of legroom. I was very comfortable up there in the driver's seat, and back here, someone of similar size to me would be extremely comfortable. There's a ton of legroom still. The front area for the rear passengers is just going to include 2 rear climate control vents, 2 chargers right down here, and then your 2 rear heated seat buttons right down there. And that's going to be it for the rear end passengers. You do have the same design Alcantara center red leather wrapped rear seats on here. Again, these all fold down, and then your center area right here is going to be finished with 2 cup holders, and again, that red leather. You can also put a third person in here too, with an adjustable headrest right here to go up and down as you please. Overall though, very simplistic design, nothing too crazy, nothing to write home about, and nothing to really go over besides what I just did. And that's gonna wrap up today's video on the 2024 Blazer EV SUV RS trim model. I hope you guys enjoyed this type of video. I'm trying to get through it a little bit faster today and not drag on, because honestly, well, there isn't too much to go on about this car. If you are interested in this one in particular, like I said, check the links below. If you're interested in any other kind of Chevy, make sure to check out Millennium Chevy, because they're pretty good guys over there, and they'll make sure to take care of you. I appreciate you guys all for watching. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so that you know when I post next, and I look forward to seeing all of you guys in the next video. Take care.